Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of the Sam Quinn episode for the Grapplers Academy. Today we're going to be looking at the match with Ben Hills and asking questions about his mindset and what his thought process was throughout the match.
We also get into a bit of insight in future matches that he's looking forward to and what lessons he can take from this match, practice in the gym and carry forward into his next competition.
So before we sort of get into this, Sam, what was the sort of game plan coming into this match?
I didn't really have one for this because before I had a knee injury, so I think I had 8 weeks off and then came back 2 weeks before this. So I had 2 weeks of shit training where I was just kind of trying to build my cardio up and not working on my game. So I was just kind of in the gym, just kind of just trying to go 1,000%, just gassing myself out without actually working any technique, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because the last 2 weeks before a comp, normally I'm kind of drilling my A game more than actual doing rounds. Whereas for this one, I had to try and just push my cardio up as much as I could.
In terms of confidence or prep going into a big match, are you usually pretty relaxed going into it, or is it something that's always at the forefront of your mind?
Well, the first time I did GrappleFest against Josh Turrington was the first time I properly got nervous. I'd never really been nervous before a comp. I got the nerves, but just from excitement. Whereas when I first got on GrappleFest, I was kind of nervous about going out there.
Okay.
So I didn't want to. Whereas with this one, because I felt the first one, I was I'm just going to be relaxed. I came out to this one much more relaxed, but then I was confident I wasn't going to get subbed, but because I hadn't trained that much before, I just wasn't confident that I would sub him, if you know what I mean. I knew I'd get close to him on stuff, but I wasn't confident I was gonna sub him. Just confident I wasn't gonna lose.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I say scoring it as well. I think probably one of the referees' nightmares scoring this because it was very back and forth as well.
Yeah, especially when James Nardone's one of the referees. Instant loss for Stealth.
So we'll hit the play button. We'll get started and we'll just sort of talk through the match and hopefully go through the process of it.
Yeah.
So, kind of talk us about what your initial mindset is from stand up.
Well, I tried to go out and hit a foot sweep straight away, which didn't work. So I think I was going to try and stay with him just until he started to go for guillotines and stuff. But I think somebody was telling me to pull, I can't be sure. But the game plan was just to pull and go reverse Della.
Yeah. It's quite a nice entry, that as well.
But on the entry straight away is where I twinged my knee again, the bad knee. Because I turned out when I hit it instead of coming all the way around.
So sort of from 30 seconds in, you were sort of fighting with an injury already?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
So from these sorts of positions,
just a bit.
Sorry.
Go on.
I was just going to say, from these sort of positions, are you waiting for a reaction from your opponent, or are you looking to kind of force them into something from there?
From there, I was just kind of waiting for him to backstep. So I was leaving my top leg loose so I could catch him as he came up.
Okay. Sort of, and you passing here is it's fairly high, isn't it? Was that because of his Ben's guillotine game or your preferred style of passing?
I think it was just the style of passing I was playing at the time because I was trying to go arm and leg injury, pin them together. So I didn't want to go super close to his hips.
Yeah. I see. He's not shy to jump up onto the legs himself, is he?
No, I think he did quite a few times, I think.
In terms of the back and forth on this match, was it quite a frustrating one in terms of getting stuff off? Did you feel you were both kind of hitting in passes, or did it feel quite flowy in the moment?
It kind of felt like everything he shot, I was kind of getting out easy, and everything I was shooting, he was just getting out of easy. Nothing was secure. But I think that was just coming into like the kind of like respecting each other's games of like not wanting to go too deep into something in case it put you in danger.
Yeah.
Which is like a stupid way to be, but
I suppose that's a hard switch of switching that mindset from how you play in the gym to competition day, isn't it?
yeah, I think that's the hardest thing about it, isn't it?
So, what was you looking for initially from the pass? Because me and Bon was looking at it. Like, were you looking for the knee on belly, or were you just looking to try and secure that side control?
I was trying to lift him up a bit so he'd go to turtle so I could take the back from there, because once I get past guard, I don't really like playing side control on mount. I kind of like him to go turtle.
Mm. Does that sort of dictate the pressure that you try to apply then to them to either encourage them to turtle up or turn into you?
Yeah, so when I pass, I try and like run at the knees kind of, so they can like turn with it easily, to make it think like they're turning.
Yeah.
And then I think I just got tired on top, so I sat down again.
Well, I was just going to ask, like, what point do you decide that you kind of done having a go at top and would like to play from the bottom a bit? But
normally after I've slept. But I think from this matter, like after the attempts, like 30 seconds in, I was tired already.
Mm.
So there was a couple of nice arm drags. So you're trying to get to the back when you're looking for those?
Normally, if they stay to turtle, I'll jump to the back. But most of the time, they kind of just knocks them straight over onto so they're seated.
Not fair.
Yeah, it looked like unless you were looking for the arm drag or the leg entry in this, you were going for the Kimura a couple of times as well.
Yeah, I was, I think.
What was your thoughts then? When you sort of went for that scissor takedown? Like, was it in mind? Or?
He was kind of like arm's distance away from me. As soon as he jumped, I knew he wouldn't be like past my knee line, so I knew I was safe. But he did hit me with like an elbow, I think, when he came in. Really knocked me out.
Those combat rules.
So an interesting side point from a GrappleFest match is like there's always at least two like booths of stealth guys at the side of the mat, isn't there? Does that play into it at all?
Yeah. It is quite good having people there because it just feels like you're walking out into your own gym.
Yeah.
And like quite a few like Kyle Case and like Pippi and stuff were giving me shit straight away. So it put me at ease for that match. I think when we were stood before, I was going to start to wrestle, but I told Violet at the start of the match to start shouting at me if I stand up. So like as soon as I stood up, she was like, "Sit back down, you fat fuck."
The kind of support you need, that innit?
Yeah.
So was there any point in the match where he had a bite on anything that you felt that was close, or?
I don't think he got close with anything, no. Like, because every attempt he went into, he was already like my knee was already kind of out.
I'll say that last one that he went for then kind of looked like it was one of the closer ones, but you could see your knee was pretty free.
Yeah, I think he could have switched it to that 50-50 Lackland thing. But this was like pre-ADCC, I think.
Yeah.
I suppose in terms of the bigger question, how does like this match impact your mindset for a potential rematch? I know you've already said that you might not play it as cautiously for the next match, but do you think that's a plus or a negative in terms of like knowing how this one went and feeling like you could approach it with a bit more aggression next time, maybe?
I'd go out like a lot more aggressive, just hunting for the sub, but at the same still being careful at the same time because he is really good. And he has like a lot of submissions that kind of just come from nowhere, like especially with like the guillotine that he hits and stuff like that. But I think, and I'm sure he's been playing like quite a lot of legs, which I'd be interested to see where I'm at against somebody like him now, like with leg locks, because I've been trying to work quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I think he's gone like really good at leg locks now, whereas like back then I think he was just kind of like starting.
It's an interesting one for you. From my point of view, how do you feel about training with guys that you might compete against?
I don't really mind me. Like I wouldn't really like to compete against people from stealth. But like if I had to at a comp, I would. But I wouldn't take a match with him on like a sub only show. Whereas like the last couple of weeks, I've been in the same room as Ben, and I don't like we didn't roll, but we could have rolled, and I would have been able to compete with him. Like I don't think it would have been a problem.
Yeah.
I want to test myself against Ben because he's my weight now, and he's kind of like winning every single sub only show he's doing, and he's fighting good guys. So it makes sense for me to want to have a match with him.
No, definitely. Sort of like looking forward to sort of the second half of this year. Then, have you got anything in mind, like comp wise?
I'm on the do you know the Empire Invitational one?
Oh yeah.
I'm on that one. I think that's like the 24th of July. And then there's nothing after that, but I'm hoping I can just get on as many like sub only shows and probably start, if any like comps open up, I'll try and do like a few no-gi ones just to test the water kind of, because I've not competed now since last October, I think.
Oh wow.
So an interesting question that I had when me and Simon were watching the match before to go through. You've got quite an aggressive way of sitting down when you come to the mat. What's all that about?
I think it's just from gi and having to get like that double guard pull super quick.
Yeah.
Because I still do it now, even when like everybody keeps telling me you can just sit down, but I'm still jumping in trying to go like palm on palm and sitting really quick. But then it worked at the no-gi Euros kind of. I think that's just like an old habit from the gi that I've not really like stopped yet. I'll try and work on that though this week.
I see.
Me and Simon were saying we're too fat. We'd probably break something if we sat down that fast.
Yeah, it does make a lot of noise.
It's like in this last minute here, was there sort of like a sense of urgency in your mind to sort of?
I think there was from both of us here, because especially like near the end, we ended up like on the side of the mat, and we was both trying to go for submissions. But I think the way we was like rolled, like you couldn't really move out of it.
Yeah.
I think he nearly got a Kimura, and I'm sure I was in on the legs for. I can't remember. But the way we was in the match, I feel like something more would happen if we was like moved to the middle.
Yeah.
I think there would have been a sub if there was like 5 or 10 minutes more in that match.
Yeah, you could see the sort of the way, like, especially the way the match started. You sort of kept trying to one up each other with the attempts as well.
Yeah, like he'd go, I'd go. Like it wasn't fluid.
Yeah. So we'll blame Chris for this last 30 seconds where you're up against the fence.
Factory's fault again. I do like Factory though. I'm not against him. Just James.
So in terms of like, competing against somebody, do you prefer it if they're quite aggressive and coming at you, or do you like it a bit more relaxed and let that aggression develop over the match?
I prefer it if they come like straight at me, because it kind of works for my game. Like I need them to be like trying to come through me. But I don't. If people play chilled out, like it's easier for me because I don't have to like try and keep up with them. But then like a lot of my stuff is just like based on what they do.
Okay.
So it's better if they're like trying more things and being super aggressive with it.
Is that something you've developed in the gym then, or is that just something that you've noticed through competitions?
I think developed in the gym from like I said before, just being lazy and just hoping other people do stuff and like just catching stuff off the back of it.
So you got the decision on this match. Was that something that you thought you had in the bank at that point, or were you a bit unsure?
I was a bit unsure about it. Like I wasn't even happy that I won it to be honest, because it felt like we both did nothing. So I would have been happy if they just said draw. Like I didn't really take that as a win. I don't think like Ben took it as a loss. Like I think we both said straight away like we need a rematch on that straight away.
Yeah.
And what did you take back to the gym off the back of that? Like, was there any lessons learned that you started practicing straight away?
Well, since that, just like trying to not be as lazy and go like start to go forward a bit more. Like I'm still trying to force myself to do that. It's not working as much, but just trying to get into the mindset of like forcing my game first instead of like reacting off theirs.
Yeah.
It's quite a tough mindset to change that though sometimes, unless you sort of go in there like pissed off. Like it's kind of hard to come out of that sort of way of playing, isn't it?
Yeah, and we did the Spanish Nationals, I think, like 2 years ago, and one of the referees, she was the biggest dickhead ever. She was just like, every time I was pulling guard, she was like making me stand back up, even though I had like obvious grip. So like that was the first time I've ever like been properly pissed off in a match, and it just did not work for me because I had the guy inside. I had him in half guard, top half guard, and I was just putting on like the heaviest crossface ever, and he dropped his leg to let me pass, and I was like, no. I carried on putting on the crossface, and like Jacob was screaming from the side of the mat, like he's dropped his legs past, and I was like, I'm not doing it. No. So I think that, but I did pass after it, but it just kind of made it was like stupid to be competing pissed off, because then like the match after that, I tried to just do something like go out there like a bit angry kind of. It just didn't work.
I suppose you compete as you train, don't you? Like if you relaxed in your roles in the gym, you know, it's going to be difficult to flip the switch on that, and probably not a benefit to do that on the day. Whereas I know, and I've had a chat with a couple of people who do well competitively, but they'll say when they're going out there to compete, like they want to kill their competitor, and that's the mindset that they've got.
Yeah, I don't think mine's anything like that, to be honest. Like if anything, like I'm yawning and stuff before I don't like doing a warm up, but before I think the Noga Euros last year, I kind of like gave myself a big warm up, and instead of like going out there angry, I was going out there, like just to like smash somebody.
Yeah,
because it's not like the same mind. Like smashing and being angry is like completely different. Like I just wanted to go out there and like force my game onto, and like that's probably the best I've competed like at Noga Euros. But I got absolutely smashed off the guy that won it. Sorry, what?
You have like a pre-match ritual, or is it different if it's a tournament or a sub-only match, like a one-off match, where you do different stuff in the warm-up, or do you have a set warm-up?
Well, I never really, up until like pretty much perfect that, I didn't even do a warm-up. I just kind of like moved my head to the side a few times and waved my arms about.
Looked intimidating.
Whereas now, before the GrappleFest, I was Mike Ray showed me a warm up of just like doing press ups, burpees, and squats. So I just do like 15 of each of them like 3 or 4 times, or just until like 5 minutes before I go out, just to stay like loose and fresh. And that seems to work now.
Nice. What seems to be the sort of like going through your mind when you're going out to the sort of mat as well when you're competing? Do you try to run through sort of a specific game plan of how you're going to play and different scenarios, or do you just sort of go out there blank-minded, sort of waiting to see what happens?
Kind of blank-minded. Like I try not to think about like until like a few days before. I try not to even think of jiu-jitsu. Like I just get it off my mind, and so when I go out there, I'm kind of calm and I'm not like overthink every position, because I know what I'm going to do anyway, because I've been doing it for like the past 6 years in the gym.
Yeah.
So like I think running it over in my head, like what I'm going to do if he does this, it's kind of like a stupid thing to do, because I don't know what he's going to do. Like in my head, it seems like stupid to do. So I just try and like shut it off and just go out there relax. But I am trying to like go out there and try and chase stuff now instead of being lazy and waiting for it.
No, that's fair.
So, like you said before, if you weren't competing, you probably wouldn't train. Like, what'd have to happen over the next couple of years to change your mind to maybe diving a bit more into coaching, if that's something that you wanted to do? Because I always feel like a good competitor like yourself has got a lot of lessons to pass on to people that are coming up, and they can take a lot from people that have been successful competing as you have done.
Well, I think once I start to lose like. Because maybe like masters, I'll probably start to coach a bit more then. Whereas now I'm only 23, so I kind of want to just focus on me, like my jiu-jitsu more than like other people's. Because like going like teaching in private after I've done like 2 hours a roll, and like it doesn't make sense. Like if I was doing it to make like a living out of it, it kind of would. But for now, it's just taking like time off rest, where I could just be like at home chilling out, ready for like the next session.
Yeah.
So I think maybe in like 10, 15 years, I'll probably go down like a coaching route. But for now, I'm quite enjoying just training, sleeping, training.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's coming up in the gym at the moment that you kind of got your eye on? I know you've got a good amount of bodies to train with at Stealth. Like, are you putting time into anybody to like build them up, or they're helping you out more than anything else?
Well, do you know Tyrese Cunliffe? You had him on the other day.
Mm.
He's like he's took me on now. I'm under his wing. He's teaching me how to leg block. So I've been training like a lot with Tyrese like the past like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So like, and he has been like, he's taught me so much already. Like he's got like a mad brain for it.
Mm.
I think like before lockdown, I rolled with him. Easiest round ever. First roll after lockdown, hardest round ever. He threw me about. I tried to wrestle with him. He was throwing me about, subbing me like 5 or 6 times a roll.
Oh wow.
I think he's the best person for me to learn from right now.
Mm. He's got like he's got that sort of physicality, hasn't he, now that he's started lifting a bit.
Yeah, he's not small anymore.
How old is
He's
he?
on steroids. He's just turned 17, I think, on Sunday.
Oh, horrible.
So with his been opening prep for his match this weekend.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing. We've been doing quite a lot of like 8-minute rounds, and then like a lot of drilling just to like stay sharp for his techniques. So I don't think he's going to struggle at all against this guy.
No,
I don't even know who the guy is, but I don't think it'll be like difficult for him at all.
I think he's from what I understand, he's a Hodger Gracie brown belt or a Mauricio brown belt.
Yeah.
So what I say off the back of that, then, well, have you got any predictions for Tyrese's match?
I think he's going to wrestle, take him down, pass his guard, and probably take his back.
Okay.
And failing that, he'll probably sit to guard and leg lock him. But I know he wants to go out there and wrestle. I think.
Yeah.
I think just to prove a point because he's a lot bigger now. I think everybody's expecting like a flying triangle or something off him, so I think he wants to go out there and kind of show that he's technical in like different aspects of his game, which he's gone like so much better.
Yeah, definitely.
So you said you wanted a rematch with Ben potentially. Is there anything else you want to give a quick call out to or shout out to before we wrap up?
Not really, no. Just Ben for now.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anybody that's like around our weight that's like purple, brown belt. I actually don't know anybody, especially in the UK because it's such a small scene.
Mm.
And like the people Ben's beating, they're kind of like coming in from other places, aren't they? Like, I know the last couple of fights he's had have been like with the Australians. So I'm not actually.
Big out.
Pardon?
Call somebody big out.
Yeah. Well,
or any shows that you want to get on? Any shows that you're interested in competing on?
And then just any submission show at the moment. Like I think Paul Harris is like the main aim, isn't it? But I don't mind that being a few years off or 5 years off. I think that's the main aim at the moment, just to try and get as many like sub-on shows as I can, just to kind of like build up like a profile, kind of.
Oh, fair. I think is Jed Hugh your weight?
No, I think Jed's like below 8. He's like 78-ish.
Is it?
Yeah.
So that'd be quite an interesting matchup to watch the two of you go at it.
Oh, I think he'd absolutely smoke me, to be honest.
Okay.
Because he is probably one of the best in the UK now, isn't he? Like by far, I think.
Yeah, no.
But it'd be a good match. It'd be a good match in the gi.
Yeah.
I feel I could hold my own in the gi.
Yeah, definitely be one to watch out for that. But so before we wrap up, have you got anybody that you want to shout out? Any thanks or?
Andrew at Brotherhood, everybody at Maeda, Carl from Transform Sports Therapy, even though he's a dickhead, and everybody at Stealth and like cams and stuff like that. That's probably about it. And Violet for putting up with me. Yeah, that's probably about it. And you two for having me on there, so.
No, thank you for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers for the insight.
Thanks for watching another episode of the Grapplers Academy. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit the like button and also hit that subscribe button.
And if there's anybody out there that you think could benefit from anything that we talked about today, don't forget to share the video and pass that information on.